You know, I'm at a point now where I don't even want a Scud missile to drop on Chuck's head. I just want to see a scene where Chuck's kind of tied up in a chair, maybe like the end of Pulp Fiction or something. And instead of the Gimp walking in, though, it's like Josh Brolin and Benicio from Sicario. And then the camera just turns off like the end of Sopranos season 6. I don't even need to know what happens. We just know that Chuck goes away. Um, this is a weird episode. Um, at this point, no matter what happens to Chuck, I don't know. I often replay seasons over and over and over again because I work and I like white. That's my white noise. I either use music or TV shows that I like. It's just getting hard, right? It's like the damage is already done. This episode comes out after Prince gets busted out on the Olympics, and you figured, well, the season's kind of short at this point, right? We're late in the season, and what is Prince gonna do to get revenge at this point? You got a couple episodes to set something up for season 7. Nope, that's not what happens. Oh, I got to do the disclaimer. I watch these on Sunday morning while I do some work on demand. A lot of my listeners, you're not probably not going to watch this till later tonight, so spoiler alert. Go watch the show and come back, or if you don't mind a spoiler, stay tuned in. Um, anyways, it's like we got a couple episodes, and we went from Olympics busted out to this, and all in one episode, Prince is able to take Chuck out. And I was just like, if it was this goddamn easy, why did you do it before? It's we're gonna go down this route. We're gonna have this elaborate play. We're gonna have these people go act over here. We're gonna set this whole scene up. It's gonna go perfect, and it's flawless. Is at some point it just isn't believable anymore. And that's what this whole episode is. And I'll talk about some of my notes and insights here. But we went from we don't know what to do about Chuck till we can get him booted from the state AG's office. Just snap of a finger, boom, in one episode. I don't know. Let's see what we got here. We start the episode off with Prince looking at the poster of the climbing and his wife or ex-wife or whatever. I still can't figure it out because I care that little. And the way he's kind of just simping for this chick. I get it. You probably love her, and it's your one and only true love, and blah blah. Dude, he's a billionaire, and he's like a tall, fit dude. Is like how many women are in this world? It's not like you got to turn it into a porn shoot, right? But if he just wanted to go find a legit another person to settle down with, right? I feel like he could probably pull this off. I'm not chasing this person, and it seems like the vibe in this whole relationship was, he's too selfish about what he does, but she also seems very selfish about what she does. It's okay. You both can just be selfish and go chase your own dreams. It's not meant to be together. You're not meant to be together. So it's like, stop chasing this chick. Dude, you could probably have anybody he wants right now. It's almost kind of sad to see. Um, I just don't like, I'm not chasing anybody like that. It's not, dude. If he was like broke and short and out of shape, and he's not. He's like he should be able to get almost anybody he wants. But anyways, what else we got? We got oh, and Chuck walks back in the door. I got it. I I'm like laughing right now. I knew this was gonna happen as soon as they showed Prince sitting in the room by himself, dark room, thinking, upset, lost. It's a big gut shot. Just like was it season 1 where Chuck comes walking in when Bobby's like tearing the whole office apart looking for the bug. I was like, man, Chuck's gonna walk in. Chuck's gonna walk in. Chuck walks in as normal. Another one-on-one dialogue where it's they're going back and forth on how they're gonna crush each other and threats are made, but they're not made, but they're certainly made clear that I was like, all right, man, this is the theme of the show. I get it. When Chuck's trying to buy the real or get the real estate for the land bank or whatever, um, Prince says something. I'm not in the business of buying high and selling low. Um, I have a feeling that if you're an investor, anyways, that's kind of what's been going on this year. I think a lot of people thought the madness of last year when we factored in the trillions of dollars that were pumped into the economy and then the inflation, which I just did an episode like talking about if you look at the Zimbabwe inflation and what it did to the stock market, and then you see how our stock market rallied so much. Yeah, you factored in the trillions of dollars, you factor in the inflation, and it made sense why the market was just stocks are going up for no reason. And the ones with strong earnings and all that stuff, you get it. But then this year, it started to come crashing down again. You watch those multiples really crash too, even on the SaaS companies. Um, but I think a lot of that was just retail investors. Kane and I talked about it on other episodes where people were taking that money, the extra money they had, and they were just pouring it into stocks and cryptos. And I think a lot of people ended up buying high to sell low, and then as the crap hits the fan, and then they need that money, they start selling that money. That's the difference between a lot of retail investors and those that are invested professionally. Or you got your money tied up with a money manager, an investment manager, 401k savings, all that stuff. That's not getting sold. It's probably gonna get held. They might move around some of your ETFs or something. But the retail investors are in and out when they need money, and I think that's part of the reason why you saw cryptos crash. It was I'm throwing that money in there to try to get rich, and then oh man, the rent's due, and then the money started coming back out. So yeah, when he said I'm not in the business of buying high and selling low, I feel like that's a lot of retail investors that took a beating here in the last few months. Year to date, look at year to date, not off to a good start here. Another podcast I listened to is the All In podcast with those four dudes. I think it was Chamath this weekend was talking about the opposite of what the professionals do versus retail traders or institutional investors or whatever versus retail. But a lot of times, if retail's selling, then the pros are buying, and it's like it just flips back and forth. And then when the pros are selling, retail's buying. It always seems to be the opposite. And he was talking about just fading retail. And it's that's anyone that if you're in the business world, if you do any kind of investments, you're watching people around you that aren't that business savvy. They're not accredited or sophisticated investors. You're watching the moves they make, and it's like I'm just gonna go do the opposite. It's like your friend that is not into sports and they're betting on sports, and it's like if you just flip everything they do, that you're gonna win, right? Yeah, everyone gets lucky once in a while, but since this is a show about billions, I'm assuming a few people listening to this are in the market, so I figured I'd mention that. Check out the All In podcast; you'd probably like that. What else we have? Prince's apartment, whatever you want to call it. Very cool place. That's like Axe had that cool city apartment. It was nice. His other houses just seemed like whatever Hamptons, whatever. Prince's really felt like cool city. I'm sure it's like a whole floor of an awesome building or something, but if you pay attention to that when it comes back around, that was a really cool place where they filmed it. That is something like I would like in the city. That would be cool. What else we got? I had this Chuck, bitching about the private park, and I didn't fully follow along. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention here, but I figured there was some kind of setup in the mix because it's too much stuff. That's the thing with the show. When too many things are happening at once, it's not a coincidence. When a person told Dave to wait outside, and then a person across the street's yelling on the phone, and then the lady was denied access to the park. In this show, when you see stuff like that happen, you know something's going to go down. Kind of like when they all get together with Birch and Prince, and then the guy that works for Chuck's over there with the little microphone on. Like it's always, something else is happening in the background, but Again, I wasn't fully following along. I don't know if I'm not from New York. Is it true that you have private parks? I don't fully understand what the issue is there. If I go buy a giant chunk of land and I say, "Hey, this is for me and my friends to hang out on," I mean, it sounds like they were complaining about the taxes. Okay, so I get that, but um, Chuck's like crusade to take all the stuff away from the billionaires to give it to everybody. I don't know. Getting old. Getting old. What else do we have? Sacker getting in the trenches. Like I'm gonna make this happen. It's she didn't want to go against Chuck, but she got her eyes on the bigger prize, and she wants to chalk up some big wins. That's gonna help her, win that seat. It was nice instead of like just backing down, removing yourself from the situation. It's like, all right, I'm gonna step up. Sometimes you got to kill the master at some point, right? This is Chuck brought her up, but he wasn't good to her. He just used her. And I think that makes it a little bit easier to go against him at the end of the day. Um, but, that's Chuck, right? What else we got here? Oh, Prince talking about the rich leaving, wealth tax. I don't know. That happened in France, right? Wasn't there like a millionaire's tax, and then all the millionaires started moving away? Um, I These are like thoughts that I try to map out in my head. What's wrong in society, what can be done better, and the hate the rich stuff is not. I was never taught that growing up. We grew up broke. My father worked in a steel factory. My mom left at a young age. Father didn't even grad. He got past. He don't think he got past the eighth grade, right? And even for the way we lived, he never once complained about rich people. He never taught me to hate the rich people. He just told me, look, man, there's rich people out there. If you work hard enough, you can go get a piece of it for yourself. That's about probably the best thing or the smartest thing he ever told me. Was it's out there and you can go get it. Guess what? I went and got me a piece of it. I just think if I would have grown up with that hate the rich mentality, that I might not even be where I'm at right now. Because I'd be sitting around every day complaining about what everyone else has instead of just going out and staking a claim for myself. So, as I see the kind of hate the wealthy stuff right now, it bugs me in a sense. Um, I don't want to defend billionaires because I think a lot of the time we don't just hate them because we're jealous of the money. It's they start doing things to control the rest of the country and to get things their way. It's about the power of it, right? It's the elites. And I think a lot of times we hate that more than them having the money themselves. But the stuff that's going on with hate the rich right now, it's like you hate Jeff Bezos, but I would have killed to have an Amazon job when I was 18 years old. I was getting exactly minimum wage doing crap, two or three of those crap jobs. And I talked about this on other episodes. And even my father is like, dude, if I could, even right now, if I could go make 35, 40 grand a year moving boxes around and have benefits, that was a better life than what he got in a steel factory. So is the world a better place with all the jobs from Amazon or not? Whatever. To me, any job that puts food on the table is not a bad job because I had times in my life when I didn't have food. There's no bad jobs that put food on the table, man. So it's just one of those things where you can hate Jeff, and maybe he's not paying his fair share of taxes. That's got to get figured out. But it's like I just don't wake up every day hating rich people. I kind of think that's where the world's going right now. And I don't know. And not everyone's got to try to get rich, but I think of the difference if I grew up with someone constantly telling me I can't succeed because Bill Gates is rich, or you can't succeed because Warren Buffett's got all the money. No one has all the money. Like I've never had to go take a dollar out of Bill Gates' pocket or Warren Buffett's pocket to get my money. I just wish people would get taught that as well. What else do we have here? Taylor crushing Bill. Man, sorry about my voice. I still got a terrible cold. As I said in another episode, the throat feels like I swallowed a cheese grater. And then did a shot of Fireball. What was it? Taylor went full Bobby Axelrod 2.0 on Dollar Bill and Miffy about trying to poach their employees. Which I don't know. It's like the whole friends. This is business. It's friends. It's business. It's um, I don't know, man. People come and go. Taylor getting so pissed off about them leaving and then threatening to crush them if they keep poaching their employees. It's You remember when Taylor was doing that to Bobby Axelrod? Right? They kept trying to poach Bobby. There's some things that don't make sense sometimes in this show. It was a great scene though, because you keep seeing Taylor become more and more like Bobby, and this is one of those episodes where Taylor just guts these two right on sight, and that was a good scene. But this happens every day in the business world, right? It's um, I own a handful of executive search companies, like for 20 years. That's what you do all day. You're helping companies get new talent to help their companies grow, and no one stays everywhere. No one, not everyone stays somewhere forever, and there's constantly people moving around. What's funny is Taylor's talking to Philip about, I don't remember the dialogue. It wasn't like locked in on this scene, but the thought of you let someone go if they're toxic, right? And I think that's one of those things where you'll see a company, they know that like a competitor is stealing one of their people, but they're sitting back and saying, "Go ahead, take them." Like, good luck, and then they won't go fight saying, "Hey, it's you got a non-compete or all this stuff." It's You're like, the company, and I've seen this in the big Fortune 500 companies, like, yeah, go ahead and take them. You can have them. And it ends up like, the person that's like stealing the person from the Fortune 5 is like, we won this battle, and it's like, no, you just took an L. That's how the world works, anyways. When you try and develop a workforce. What else do we have here? Oh, there's a Teddy KGB reference, if you caught that. Because you saw when they were in the elevator, they had those cups with the blue bottle on it or whatever. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I caught that right away. I didn't understand what it was going to be about. But then, okay, now they're talking about getting jobs, and now it makes sense. Or with Dollar Bill and McPhee. And I think Dollar Bill referenced Teddy KGB from Rounders about the Oreo cookie. Yeah, Rounders like one of my top 5 movies. I probably still throw that on as background noise like once a month. It's I don't know, it's one of those grimy New York type movies. You like poker. If you didn't like New York, you like that movie. It's That's a good too. That's a good show. What else we have? Chuck gets gutted. Like someone comes by with a samurai sword and just guts him on sight. Still, like another one of those like strange things. Out of nowhere, all in one episode, elaborate scene gets put together, plot gets put together, it all gets perfectly executed. They get to all the centers. All this happens in one episode, and then boom, Chuck's gone. Chuck's just evaporated. Um, it was that easy. Why didn't you do it before? I don't know. It's one of those things that's like, okay, we're scrambling here at this point. They're piecing together the season. The Olympics thing's busted. We're trying to get season 7 set up. It just this episode just really feels unnatural. But at the same time, it's like, just get to it. We don't have time to go through a 4 or 5 episode build up. Like, just get to it. So we just got to it. Um, Again, Chuck stands up and gives one of his grand speeches, and it's going to sway the world, and it's nice to see it not work for once. I don't know where we go from here. We'll see what happens with season 7. Chuck references about his place, about being on the floor when he was, doing the speech. So that means he's gonna try to go into Congress. I don't know. It's nice to see him take an L, get him out of the way. I wish he would just go away, but obviously it's not. It's going to be more back and forth between Prince and Chuck, and I just go away and just give us a new plot line for story 7. Have Prince integrate all this stuff going on in Russia right now with Prince, and maybe Prince is buying some Russian assets, or something's going on in oil and gas and there's arbitrage opportunity. Like, I just go do something else. I don't want to see another season of Chuck. Unless, like I said, unless the season goes with a Sicario like ending. That would. Or John Wick, right? You could do some John Wick type thing. I'm either one. I'm not picky. Throw a little John Wick ending in there, throw a little Sicario. Or both. Just make Chuck go away. You know what? I know another way. This is how tired I am in Chuck to keep talking about this. That scene in Casino when they got the guy's head and then in the vice and then he like cranks it and you see the guy's head like bulge up. Like, could that be Chuck? Could it be Chuck? I don't know. It sounds good to me. Dave moving up a spot, which is good. They seem like someone that has some kind of a legit moral compass, even though Chuck keeps corrupting it and walking them down the wrong path. This might be a good thing. Get Chuck out of the spot and put someone in. Think about it. This is where the state AG was spending their time, crushing the Olympics for the state of New York, city of New York, and then going after park access, a private park access. This is where your state attorney general is spending their time. And you think about all the other things that probably need to be dealt with in the state. So maybe now that Dave's in there, this will fade off and then they can go do some good. And then the ending, Chuck's talking to Prince, and Prince says, Chuck's making his threats, and, some kind of King's English classic speak and references that sometimes a dude sounds like a goddamn Monty Python skit. After he throws his threats out there in, dictionary speak, Prince says something like, That's the thing about dead men. They don't know they're dead or something. I don't remember what he said. There's pieces of this that reminded me of Training Day for some reason. When Denzel shoots a guy, his buddy, on the couch, and he's just looking at him, and he's like telling him to breathe and just let go. I felt that was the moment when Prince is like, I'm Denzel. I just hit you in the chest with a shotgun. Just don't fight it. Just breathe. Then bleed out. Let your lungs fill up and get out of here. I don't know. Anyways, I'm trying to make an episode out of this one here for you because it was like a big episode and kind of a super fast forward boring episode at the same time. Chuck gets gutted. These little side skits going on with like Ben Kim potentially leaving Dollar Bill, and I don't know. It's like what was the episode really? It was Chuck gets booted. Like we probably could have done this whole episode in like 2 minutes. So trying to give you some life insights and thoughts and ideas, and trying to make something out of this because it wasn't that entertaining of an episode, unfortunately. So, anyways, if you got some thoughts for what's going to happen in the next episode, drop some comments below because I have no idea. I usually go check out Reddit to see what's going on. They usually got some cool comments, insights. A lot of people over there pay a lot more attention to the show than I do. Again, it's kind of background noise for me. I've not been over there yet to see what they have to say, so maybe I'm missing out on a whole bunch of stuff. But what's your thoughts for the next episode? Let me know. I'll catch you in the next one.